Abraham Lucas is officially back for the Seattle Seahawks, and today we're going to talk about what this guy showed on tape, because Lucas, to me, just has so much upside. He has so much potential. The guy knows how to play tackle, and we saw that in his rookie season. You know, when I watched Abraham Lucas's tape in his rookie year, I thought this guy had so much upside to become a really good football player, and unfortunately, injuries have kind of held this guy back a little bit, but he is back, and he looked really, really good against Nick Bosa and the San Francisco 49ers. And I want to show you guys some of what I saw that impressed me. I think there were plays on tape where you're able to really analyze and say, yeah, this is why Lucas has upside. But at the same time, there's plays on tape where you also realize that this guy just had a major knee injury and it's going to take him time to get back to form. That too, if he ever fully does get back and really develop, this guy could be a good football player. Now on this one here, he's going to do a good job being able to pass off and see the defensive line game coming. He's going to be able to overtake the right guard's guy, right, which is essentially the defensive tackle. And he's going to do a really, really good job being able to just process it. And he's going to end up picking it up. And then as he makes contact with number 99, he's going to shut him down. All right, number 99 gets no movement on this one. So that's a really, really good job right there by Lucas. There are other snaps on tape where Nick Bosa was trying to set up Abraham Lucas, right? He's trying to come with different pass rush moves. And Lucas did not panic at all. He was able to essentially just shut it down, right? He showed us the upside he had on tape. In fact, he had a lot of snaps like this one where he's in a true one-on-one against Nick Bosa. And that's not happening with most tackles, let alone a guy who's making his 2024 NFL debut. All right, think about this play right here. You're going to get a tight end over here next to the left tackle who's essentially going to chip. You have a running back that's not going to chip. In fact, this running back's going to release. To me, that's absolutely impressive, however you look at it, right? And Lucas does a pretty good job taking on Bosa on this one. But I want to show you guys another thing that I noticed on tape while watching Lucas. And it just kind of goes to the type of player this guy actually is, right? He's smart. He knows how to play football. He has good technique. Here's a really good example of a play that you can really just analyze and say, yeah, this guy definitely has it. So here's a good snap, right? So it might not look like a whole lot, but I want to kind of talk this through a little bit. So Nick Bosa is trying to set up a pass rush move. If you guys notice the right hand that's going to come up with Bosa, he's putting that hand up almost as a ghost pass rush. He's trying to make Lucas think that he's about to throw some sort of punch, some sort of spin move, or something that represents a pass rush move. And most offensive tackles lean into Nick Bosa at this exact moment. The second Bosa puts his hand up, offensive tackles lean into it. It's just the natural thing that ends up happening. But Lucas does not, right? He stays calm and collective, and he just waits for Nick Bosa to engage him. So you can kind of tell that even though this is the first game that he's back, he's not going to panic. He's not going to jump into Nick Bosa. He's going to just stay patient. And he's going to just wait to make contact with Bosa. So that's a really, really good job. It's smart. And it just shows you some of the little things that we had seen from this guy when he was a rookie that it's going to still continue to translate, right? He's a good offensive tackle when it comes to pass pro. He also understands how to change up his pass sets. He doesn't always get into a vertical set or a 45-degree set. He'll even take the fight to number 51 the way he does on this one. So really, really good job to be able to change it up. You can get into your typical vertical or 45-degree set, or you can take the fight to a guy and essentially change it up. So when Nick Bosa throws a ghost move, he's trying to get this guy off balance. But when this guy ends up shutting down that distance, he's getting the defensive end off balance, right? He's messing with the defensive end's timing, right? So that's the point of what these guys are trying to do. So notice how he's going to first set up into a 45-degree set. And then with that, as soon as number 51 thinks it's a 45-degree set, number 51 is trying to recognize when he's going to throw his pass rush move. 72 is going to go at 51. He's going to close it. He's going to change it. And he's going to make contact with 51, right? He's going to go directly towards him. So it's a great job here by Lucas to be able to change it up and keep these guys guessing, because when the offensive tackle is able to take the fight to the defensive end, when he's able to be the first guy to make that move, it makes it hard for guys to be able to counter. Right? Not every single defensive end has a second or third pass rush move, and not every single guy can also counter. And on this one here, it's a really, really good job by Lucas to keep this guy guessing, right? Because on one play, he might do what you're about to see him do here again, where he goes towards number 51. On the next one, he might do something different, right? So again, really, really good job to be able to change it up by Lucas. Another thing Lucas does a really good job at is the timing of his hands and the placement of his hands.
Now, before we go forward, I want to just take a second to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this channel, because this content would not be possible without Underdog. If you guys have never utilized Underdog before, trust me, man, you guys are missing out. I don't do traditional fantasy sports that often. I did do one league this year, but generally speaking, I'm not really doing it anymore. And that's mostly because of Underdog. Underdog has this game that I really, really enjoy. It's called Pick'em. Essentially, you're going to go out there and just make picks that you think are going to be right. They'll have pretty much every pick you can think of for every player, and they have multiple categories as well. So an example would be, I think Aiden O'Connell is going to throw for 125 yards. And you're essentially just going to pick higher on that, right? I think he'll have more than 125 yards. You might say, hey, Dak Prescott's going to have at least 2 touchdowns, and pick higher on that. You might say Caleb Williams is going to have a rushing touchdown. And some of those stats also give you multipliers, right? So usually for quarterbacks rushing it in, right? That's something most quarterbacks aren't doing every single week. You'll get like a 4x multiplier on that. So depending on the multiplier, depending on how many picks, you can turn $5 into $400, $1,000, right? Whatever it ends up being. Obviously, it depends on the multiplier, but Underdog to me is one of those places that I pretty much do every single week at this point. Very fun. It makes like watching the Jets and the Dolphins without Tua. It makes them interesting, right? So check out Underdog. If you guys have never used them before, it is the best place. Trust me when I say that. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Use my promo code that you guys see on the screen, or use the app. I recommend the app. So let's get right back into the content.
Another thing Lucas does a really good job at is the timing of his hands and the placement of his hands. Sometimes offensive tackles just know what they're doing when it comes to the timing and placement. They can latch well, they can make contact well. And Lucas did a really good job against the 49ers yesterday. Here's an example of exactly what I mean. On this one here, watch how the hands land. The aggressiveness within the punch, is not soft. He's not waiting to make contact. He's going at number 56. But he's also not leaning, and he's also waiting for 56 to make that first contact, right? But when that contact's coming, he makes sure to essentially throw that punch. And with that, he also lands his hands in a way where 56 is trying to hit the outside. He's not going to be able to. Lucas has really, really good hands right there, and he's able to just shut it down. So really good job on that one. Here's another one. You're going to get a 3rd and 3. Number 56 is going to be in a wide 9. And watch how Lucas is able to change up the pass set to make sure he's able to get to 56. He's going to be able to do what it takes to shut down number 56. And this is smart, right? Like, you don't get most offensive tackles that are going to get away from their technique to win a rep. Only the smartest and best offensive tackles are able to do these type of things. And I'm not saying Lucas is one of the best tackles yet. He has to prove it. But the base is there, right? Like, you can see the little things this guy does on tape that is really, really impressive. Now, before we get into some of the run reps, I do want to just take a second to talk about Lucas's knee injury, because you can visibly see on tape he does not look as quick. He does not look as fast. And especially as the game kind of went on, it almost seemed like, and you can look at this play as an example, it almost seemed like, he's limping a little bit out there. And I wonder how healthy this guy actually is. And I understand he wants to get out there, and truth be told, the best way to actually get better and get back to full speed is just to go out there essentially and put it out there on the field, right? It's the best way to actually get back to the type of guy you were. It's by just taking those snaps. But you can definitely see as the game went on, Lucas did not look as healthy in that knee, and he didn't look as quick. Now, there were also some snaps on tape where Lucas did end up getting bull rushed. Here's one from earlier on in the game where Nick Bosa is going to end up bull rushing him, and you can see Lucas ends up kind of collapsing towards the end of this. You guys can look at it from the all-22 angle here. You see him way up here. He's going to get bull rushed, and he's going to end up kind of falling. There were plays like this on tape that I saw guys bull rushing him. Again, I think these are the things he'll have to continue to improve on and continue to get better. Obviously, he'll have to get healthier long-term and just be able to really compete at that level that he once showed us he can. I also want to talk a little bit about the run blocking. He did a pretty good job in run blocking. You can see this play here. He's going to do a really good job making contact with the 3 technique. He does initially try to reach and get in front, and he does do a pretty good job, but you also see the defensive tackle is going to end up trying to stay in front of this. He's going to try to even fight through it. Now, in order for number 99 here to actually get past Abraham Lucas, he's going to end up giving up like 4 yards in depth, because Lucas does initially reach this guy. So number 99 starts to run backwards to try to get over the top, and he does give up about 4 yards. Lucas does a really good job just staying with it, and he's going to just kind of push this guy out of there. The running back picks up 7 yards on this one. On this one here, Lucas is going to do a really, really good job being aggressive. Once again, he's going to try to reach number 99, He's not able to, but he does do the next best thing, which is essentially he's going to just take him down into the ground. It's a pretty good job to be able to pancake number 99 here. I do think Lucas is a good run blocker. And I think in the past, he's shown us as a guy that can reach when it comes to zone blocking, he's shown us that he's able to do that, right? He's able to get to his guy. He's able to cut people off properly. But he does have to get healthy because you can tell that there's definitely some issues on tape, right? Specifically with the movement. Overall, I felt like Lucas was pretty solid in his return. From a technique standpoint, he did all the things right, but you can tell from a movement perspective, he wasn't able to drive people off the ball, right? He wasn't able to push people backwards, which is something that he definitely was able to do in the past, right? He was definitely able to move people as he engaged with people and locked in. But against the 49ers yesterday, I didn't really see that from him. But I do think he will be able to come back. I do think he'll be able to bounce back and be a good football player. And we will continue to check on Lucas as the season kind of goes on. Last year, we did a weekly Seahawks film breakdown. And I want to kind of get back into that. I want to try to get into a weekly film breakdown. Oluwatimi obviously got the start as well for Connor Williams. He's another guy we'll check in on at some point. Let me know what you guys think, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. And I will see you guys next time with another video.